So here I'm going to demonstrate the new particle authoring system from within the WorldWriter. This is a pretty simple system. There's a variety of options that you can choose from, but let me just get right to it. If you right-click on the content library and you go to Add Particle System, it'll pop up a dialog box where you can add a new particle system. So we're going to call this one Smoke Plume, and I'm going to create an output path for it. I'm just going to put this somewhere. Smoke Plume. It saves these files as .particle files, which is really just an XML file. So here maybe I'll have 2,000 particles maximum, and I'll give it 3,000 milliseconds, so 3 seconds. Maybe a little bit of randomness included in there. Its rotate speed I'll set at maybe -1 and 1, and maybe let's see, minimum start size 2040. Maybe we want these to grow a little bit when we're done. Maybe the end size would be 30 and 50. And I'm going to leave some of these the default, so no gravity right now. We'll open up a texture. I have a texture for smoke. So there's a smoke texture that'll load up here in a second. Now notice when I actually click on Add, when I'm satisfied, these are just the initial settings. Of course we can modify these at will. So it found that texture, it put that texture into the content library as well, and now I need to build the content. So we'll build this, and that'll put it into an XNA binary format, and now I can add this to the scene. I'm going to add it with a particle emitter. So that particle emitter is just a single point. And when I look at this particle emitter, I can see it's really turning out a lot of particles. So I'm going to drop it down to maybe 10 particles per second now, and I can zoom around and I can look at what we've come up with. So it's not particularly exciting right now. Let's modify a little bit. Let's make its horizontal or its vertical velocity actually set a little bit. So let's say its maximum horizontal vertical velocity is 5. So now it starts to kind of smoke, and it's going to go upward. Let's change its duration so that really this time the smoke particles can really reach up into the sky. So with just a few second duration, each particle is only going to live for kind of a short amount of time. But at 15 seconds here for duration, you can see we really have this tall column of smoke. I'm going to add some gravity in there just to make an interesting effect. Maybe like this. And now you can see that really the smoke is starting to drift off if it were blown by the wind. And this is a nice start. Let me change a couple of other things. We can change its horizontal velocity. We can change. We can say maybe this maximum horizontal velocity. I'll give it a little bit of horizontal velocity, so it'll. And these are 3D particles, of course, so we can actually see them, as we move around within the space. And now I want a little bit more, a few more particles, so I'm actually going to increase my particles per second a little bit. Maybe make it a slightly richer cloud of smoke. And now I think this should be poisonous smoke. So let's change the color, and we'll set the color. We're going to turn the red and green channels, blue channels off. So we'll turn the red and blue channels off altogether. And now it'll be a really nice tint. But that's the min and max color, so there's some variation there. I'm saying that at minimum it's going to be green, but it could go all the way up to white, which would be no modulation at all. But so now we have a really nice looking poisonous cloud that just took a few seconds to author, and somebody who has much more artistic talent than I do could certainly do a little bit better. So that is the particle system. I can edit this at any time, and I can save this back. So all I have to do there is double click on the content library item, and I can modify this and save those pieces back. So let me put that back in there. That is the particle authoring system. For anybody who's just getting this latest piece, also you'll notice an Audio Explorer. That's visible from View Audio Explorer. And this allows me to put sound effects and songs into the system. So I can import a sound effect or a song. So let's say I'm looking for wave files. There's some wave files under Windows Media. And let's grab a couple of these. Chimes, chord, ding. So it actually added those to the sound system right off the bat, and I can even play them right now. So just double click, and it's going to play them. And for song, maybe I have some sound effects that are a little bit longer, and that'll show that I can render lots of different sound effects simultaneously. They just overlay on top of one another. So let's do crickets and crossbow. So now we have a few of these. So I'll just play the church bell wave in the background. Meanwhile, I'm going to import a song. And the songs, I'm just going to grab a file off of my my music library. Where do I have music? My music is somewhere in here. Let's see. Let's not read. So that's pulling up. I can support MP3 files or WMA files. So Windows Media Audio or MP3. And just like with the sound files, I can simply double click on it to play. And each one of them keeps track of their own. This one's currently playing, and I can pause or stop it. And that WMA file is playing in the background, and I can still play. And there you have it. There are a couple of cool additions. There's one last addition actually that I want to show. I want to show a reset camera, which allows us to just reset the camera back to just a root position in case you get lost. Also, some options that allow you to specify the keyboard and mouse sensitivity. So at a low mouse sensitivity, I don't have a whole lot of motion when I move the mouse around, but at a high mouse sensitivity, I get much more action out of individual movements. Likewise for keyboard sensitivity. So here I can move around fairly quickly with the keyboard, and WASD is the functionality. If I really jack up the keyboard sensitivity, I can move much faster. And that's it. That is the latest in additions. That's the particle authoring system, the Audio Explorer, and a couple of simple administration pieces there, the reset camera and options for this stuff. All right, enjoy.